The Late Show has uncovered even more of Vance's past harsh criticism of Donald Trump.
I'm going to get in trouble for this, but my worry with Trump is that he set my grandfather on fire. He seems like a disgusting toddler. Donald Trump can't win any fight against wet noodles. I didn't vote for Trump, but you have to pretend to be somebody you're not to get good jobs in Washington, D.C.
I want to show you Nick Fuentes' commentary here on Sean O'Brien. This is really important, and I know it doesn't feel like this isn't important, but it is important. And Nick Fuentes is the undertone, is the undercurrent of the Republican Party, is the reason why they seem so Nazi, because he's a Nazi. Listen to this.
And he's a huge fan of J.D. Vance's wife.
J.D. Vance with his Indian wife. And, look, I'm not a racist guy, so I'm not saying, like, ignorantly, oh, you have an Indian wife, F you. I'm saying, what kind of values does a man have to marry somebody that far outside your race who isn't even a Christian? It says something about your values. I'm sorry, but people say he's this rural guy from Ohio. You know something? I was raised differently. I was raised with the values that, my parents kind of do expect me to marry.
I want to point out that he's not commentating about the person speaking. And the reason why is because
isn't it funny? Like I said, I went right away to the J.D. Vance. Like I said it because I thought he was going to be commentating about the person speaking. And so that I just threw out and he loves J.D. Vance's wife thing. Because I mean, that's the most infamous thing he said so far. I love that he's not racist.
They can't focus on anything. They can't even focus on Sean O'Brien, which is a big deal. This is a big deal that the Teamsters president would go to the RNC in this moment in time, in this timeline. Now, again, a lot of people will knock Sean O'Brien for this. I actually think Sean O'Brien was, more than anything, he was trying to show the country that MAGA and Trump and the Republicans do not like the unions. They want to destroy the unions. Because they wouldn't even, the room was silent when he was saying about the American working class and the American worker. And Nick Fuentes missed that entire message. Nick Fuentes missed that opportunity because he is so focused on what race J.D. Vance's wife is.
Which I knew before he was picked, I knew this was going to be an issue. I mean, J.D. Vance is it's funny you said, well, I'm a constituent of his. I think Sherry Jacobus shared the other day, and I didn't correct her. I just had to add to what she said. She's like, Cliff knows about him because they live in Ohio. I'm like, nope, not Ohio, and not just Cincinnati. I live 5 minutes down the road from that motherfucker. I've run into him in a few places, and if my 14-year-old hadn't begged me and said, please don't embarrass me, again, I am fully against violence, so don't think I'm saying that, but I would have gone up to his face and reminded him, we were on NPR together back in like 2018. They'd have like 5 different panelists on. And this guy was ripping Trump and admitting basically he voted for Hillary. They used to have a good friend who was trans, he and his wife, when they lived in San Francisco. I mean, the selling of the soul, these soulless motherfuckers who just don't care about anything. I mean, it's just America's Hitler to, I guess, I'm now America's Goebbels is what he's saying, or Himmler, or whoever he chose to be. But
right, J.D. Mandel.
That's right. That was a great moment of Trump not knowing his fucking name.
Yeah, not even knowing his name.
So Vance is not even from Ohio. I mean, he grew up in Ohio. He lied about the part he was from. It's not Appalachian, where he's from. Everything about him has been bullshit, but at least it used to be he was a bullshitter who was a moderate Republican. But, like so many of the rest of these guys, he saw where the power in the party was, and it's either morals and maybe I can't get elected, or I whore out to anybody and anything and don't give a shit what I say. I mean, I want you to imagine this for a second. After 9/11, I know some folks here may be younger and may not remember, but there were incidents where Sikhs and others were attacked because people were like, "You goddamn Muslim!" Like the Republican base doesn't know the fucking difference. There's no difference between you being Latino or Indian. You're non-white. I mean, you're dark. You're scary. This guy has fucking 2 kids. He has a little boy and a little girl who have to live here, go to school, do whatever, who are brown. And he is out there demonizing brown people. I mean, imagine being such a whore. I'm sorry, there's nothing else I can think of to say, because I have 2 little boys and I would kill or die for them. And to think that somebody would endanger their children for power. What kind of a
because they don't they don't believe that those children will be in danger because they're their children and they will be in power. Let's let Nick finish here because I love
not if somebody gets to them first. They almost got whatever. I won't get into the Trump but
I want to get to Nick's because I'm telling you folks, Trump didn't gain voters for the JD Vance pick. He lost them. Listen,
I mean, I don't want to throw my parents under the bus. They'd be fine if I didn't. But it is a value that you marry someone that's like you. You marry someone that's like you. You marry someone that's like the kind of people that you grew up with and like your parents. And you marry a Christian. What kind of man marries somebody that isn't a Christian? What kind of man marries somebody named Usha? Clearly, he doesn't value his racial identity, his heritage. Clearly, he doesn't value his religion. He doesn't marry a woman that professes Jesus Christ. What does that say about him?
Now, I want to also point out.
I'll say quickly, and I'm not John Fugelsang on this, so you can go read him, but clearly, because this guy Fuentes professes Jesus Christ, because Jesus said all of that stuff about the poor over and treating people differently than you, like that whole thing about the Good Samaritan and helping a person on the highway who was lost and poor and bringing them into your home and washing them was, that doesn't sound anything like, I don't know, immigrants coming in or whatever. You would take the Good Samaritan in his version is the story where you find a person on the highway, you rob them of everything they have left on them, and then you run them over with your car. That's it. That's his version of the Good Samaritan.
Vance was at one point very critical of Trump, calling him, quote, unfit for office.
He called him a, quote, cynical a-hole.
There is definitely an element of Donald Trump's support that has its basis in racism or xenophobia.
I never liked him.